Hi everyone, my name is Emilio, and in today's Techo Tips video, I'm going to cover asking for a letter of rec, which is a pretty important college skill to have, or, even just a general life skill as well. So, something that you definitely want to ask a potential letter of rec writer is ask them if they can write you a strong letter of rec. Now, I know for a lot of us first generation college students, just asking a letter of rec to begin with is already hard on its own. But it's definitely important to ask if someone can write you a strong letter of rec, because this can be used to measure how well they know you. Because a reason why colleges and jobs ask for a letter of rec to begin with is so that they can get an insight on who you are besides grades, GPA, you know, test scores. It's a really good way of evaluating your character, your attitude, your enthusiasm, how you carry yourself, and it can help an employer or university determine if that's the type of person that they want to see on their campus at their workforce. So definitely asking for a strong letter of rec is a good way to start. Now, I also wanted to acknowledge, for a lot of us first generation college students, we don't have a foot in the door. We don't have a strong network. And the closest thing that we have is, well, I've taken a class with this professor and I got a good grade, or I showed up to every class. So, another method to get a strong letter of rec is to just email your professor and say, "Hi, professor, I need a letter of rec for this program, for this job, and I was wondering if you could write me a good letter of rec if I give you my resume." And that some professors are willing, some aren't, but definitely the professors that that you intuitively trust and have a sense that they are good people and would do it if you take the initiative to hand them your resume through email, to give them something to work with. Usually they'll be able to help you out. Now, I also wanted to talk about my situation right now, right? So I know a lot of you are like, who is this guy? Like some guy that just happened to have gone through the college admissions process already a couple years ago. Yes, that is true. But this is actually pretty salient and relevant to me right now, because this same guy who was in high school, who was applying to college, now needs a letter of rec for graduate school, for Masters in Public Health programs specifically. And I need not one, not two, but three letters of rec. So it took a lot of reaching out. A lot of the tips that I'm giving to you right now, such as, hey, can you give me a strong letter of rec if I give you my resume? That comes from personal experience. So yeah, I would definitely try to ask in advance as well. That's something that I did. My first MPH application is due on December 1st. I asked like in the middle of September, when really I probably should have asked in the summer for something like that. But I think that just goes to show that if you give your professor, your employer, your high school teacher, right, whoever it may be, you should give them at least minimum a month before the first deadline is due. Like, let them know, like, hey, I have this deadline coming up for this application and I need a letter of rec. Like, and just clarifying what that date is will help them out a lot. Ideally, you let them know as soon as the application opens, so that they know that this is something you can apply to in the first place. Because sometimes people will be like, well, the application's not open yet. But it varies, right? People vary with their kindness. Now, I don't have any other tips, but I do want to encourage you to, just go for it. Write that email saying, hey, can you write me a letter? Or, if this is in person, go up to them, just be like, hey, I wanted to know if you can write me a strong letter of rec. And that's definitely easier than done. That's really easy for me to tell you, but I think just gaining that confidence now will help you out in the long run. Because if you can help gain confidence skills, sharpen those confidence skills to just approach that professor, approach that teacher or supervisor about that letter of rec, you'll be able to translate that pretty well to your statement of purpose, to your cover letter, to your interview. Let that confidence shine all the way throughout this process. If you like what you heard, log into your TechoGuide account and search your Techo Tips library for more content to help you survive college. We got everything from insider tips from counselors to success stories from students just like you. Thanks for listening. I'm Emilio, and I'll see you at graduation.